Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chairing Series, myself, Critical Rocket, and here we are with the last of the linebackers, only two, is the Linebacker H configuration. And we all know that H stands for heavy, which means heavy lasers in the clans. This is a pretty up-close and personal build of the linebacker, no fuss, unlike other variants that have a mix of weaponry. This is an all-energy loadout that comes with two heavy large lasers, one in each arm, two ER medium lasers, again in the arms, and a single ER small for anti-infantry work and for, scraping armor off when needed. Basically, it's a no-fuss build, no frills. Basically, find a target and hit them with as much armor-melting weaponry as possible. It worked well in the clan's favour for a number of years. Later on, after, I believe it's Hell's Horses who developed heavy laser technology. If it wasn't that, it was Coyote, but I'm leaning toward it being Hell's Horses. But one of the ignored clans that do all the important stuff, but the other bigger clans apparently do all the fighting and dying. I quite like this build, much like the Echo. It's pretty straightforward. You don't have to think too much about it, which allows you to focus on pinpoint shots with those heavy large lasers. Heat is always an issue, of course, whenever heavy lasers come into play with any build. Even if it's a single heavy laser, you always have to be wary of how much heat you're generating alongside the other weapons you fire. It does have the benefit, however, that the ER mediums are actually torso mounted slightly higher up, which means you can at least aim over terrain a little bit easier than you can normally because of the linebacker's low slung arms. So you can peek and shoot with those, and the ER mediums actually have, I think it's slightly better range if you've got them skilled out. So it's not too bad. Obviously this build works better when you've got some of the heat skills on as well, obviously for better dissipation, and any of the range skills are good for the heavy lasers because any little increment in range increase that you can get is always beneficial. Because one of the main drawbacks, I think, of heavy lasers outside of the heat is the fact that you've got much shorter range, even for a large laser, so you have to take into account that you're going to have to get a lot closer to targets to get the maximum damage out of each burn. I also wouldn't recommend firing them in dual mode because the heat spike is too much. Firing them single each at least allows you to fire them regularly enough without having to worry too much about overheating. And when you do catch a target off guard like I did there, you could do a lot of damage very quickly. So yeah, the hotel is one I actually didn't have to build. As you can see, it says Linebacker H in the paper doll down there on the bottom left, because it was added a little while ago, so that was nice. Bought it with my hard-earned C-bills. Honestly, they were hard-earned. They weren't just from packs. And the mech was also on sale, which was great at the time. But then again, when aren't mechs on sale? MWO at the moment haven't been on sale for the last year or more. I don't know. They're doing a sale now. The time I record this, there's a medium rare sale. So they're never going to stop them. So yeah, it was pretty nice to actually be able to do a Chariot series video without having to build it from another mech, unlike I had to do with the E. I really wish they would have added some of these other variants in, especially if it's to be believed with no new mech packs coming in and all the rest of it for MechWarrior Online, why they don't just put these new variants in as part of the patches, maybe one or two every patch. At least it's something new, that people can maybe crack out an old mech that they haven't used for a while. Oh, we've added the new Jaeger mech variant that wasn't in the game originally, and a new clan configuration that wasn't originally. People might jump in and play the game a bit more then. I mean, I think my other suggestion of them being rewards for faction play rank ups, I think would be good. I think they could do that and actually give people a reason to play the mode a bit more, outside of just reasons. So yeah, it's a shame really, because I do like some of these other variants. Really do add a extra sort of level to playing certain mechs, especially with builds that aren't normally seen on them originally, or it takes the mech out of its perceived comfort zone. So yeah, it's a shame that we won't see all of the variants of certain mechs being added officially into MechWarrior Online. So yeah, I would recommend this though. If you've got the spare C-bills, pick it up, or just use a Prime model and buy the Omnipods. Just add the Omnipods where necessary. It'd probably cost you less than buying the whole mech. You could probably drop the ER small if you were going to customize this. it's fairly pointless. Really, it's there because a lot of mechs have ER small lasers to deal with light infantry and also dealing with small vehicles without spiking heat too much. Although some small vehicles do have more armor than you'd expect. The front of a Scorpion tank, for instance, is fairly hard to punch through. ER smalls is not going to cut the mustard on that. Yeah, it would probably benefit maybe from having pulse lasers instead of the ER mediums. I know that increases the heat again. Probably even dropping the heavy lasers for maybe more just ER mediums. I don't know. It's for me, it feels like playing a crab. It's like a crab version of the linebacker. Basically, it's all energy. It's a skirmisher. It's an ambusher. It's a guerrilla fighter. And with that speed bonus as well, it's quite good. So we're getting near to the end of this one, hence making it part of the Glorious Domination series. This bushwhacker came out of nowhere. I don't know why he was so fresh. He wasn't for long, obviously, because the whole team dumped on him. And pretty sure that a flea tries to kill me right at the end. He was close as well. If he got another pass on me, I think he would have got me. But that's why I'm running away now, like a scared little girl, trying not to get killed by a flea. As I think I had loads of small pulse lasers or something. Those things are nasty. But yeah, it's pretty much the end of the match, and I think my damage was good. I think it was pretty decent for me, at least. I know lots of people was I get 1,000 damage every time I drop. It's a minimum, but for me, like 500 is pretty decent, 400 is pretty decent, 300 is passable. So that's the linebackers. Next week, I think it's 65 turrets, Catapult, Thunderbolt. Not quite sure. Gotta look through the variants. So. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, bye. Oh, we've gone to the credits. Oh, bye, 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 bye. There's no credits, really. This is just me. This is how I record it. There's no one else to thank, really, is there?
Shut up, Rocket!
What? Oh, yeah.